If you had 3 people over for dinner, who would they be?
Mate, I'd have to say the big fella upstairs. I'd love to have him over and see him face to face. My mum, obviously, and the third one's a tough one, but I think my little friend over there, Trent.
Somebody mentioned my name. Yeah, on television again, which is awesome. Hey, Mum. Oh, I'm sure that'd be an interesting group of people to have over.
Worth the wait. Is it? Has it been? And when will the wait be over?
Not sure about the wait when it will be over.
So it has been 7 years, mate.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's been good. I'm not counting the days or anything. I live a really content lifestyle and just look. You know, I've got good relationships around me with girls and.
But the big dog's got to eat.
Oh, hello, welcome to Turn It Up when we've got the great man Jason Stevens on. Steve,
good memory.
Okay, straight to the point. Early 20s became a Christian, and there was no hanky-panky till marriage.
Yeah.
Was it hard?
Well,
hang on. Was it difficult? I'll say. Was it difficult? I bet you. Was it difficult?
I'm only human.
Can we start again? Is this pre-record?
Yeah, you know, like it was just all. I knew what I wanted, so it made decisions a bit easier, and I knew what I had experienced, and so, you know, like I wasn't doing it God's way. I thought, well, he invented sex, you know what I mean? He invented it all, so he knows the best way, and so I chose to follow that way.
Cool.
And when you were going through that period, did you actually nearly have to marry someone from Sexpo? What's that story?
Well, Glenn Pallister, the footy show, he rang me and said, "I've got your wife, mate. I've got to come in." And you know, back in the day, you couldn't do a Zoom or anything. You're travelling from Cronulla to North Sydney, and he showed me all these tapes. One was a nun, one was some Sexpo. One poor girl, she had a couple of teeth missing. I didn't hold that against her. I was very open, but it didn't. Thank God Beck came along, so my beautiful wife. So
well, that all happened, and then you met Beck. So how'd you meet Beck? Now, of course, young Presley's come along.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that's probably one of the greatest gifts God could have given you.
Yeah, he's 6 years old. He's Presley because I'm born on Elvis's birthday, so I love Elvis, and I named him Presley. And yeah, I've got a great wife. I've got a great family. She backs me in my film stuff and endeavours, and plays a huge role as well. So she's been very patient in that respect as well.
Young guy making his debut for the Blues off the bench, Max King. Similar story to yourself. Have you had much to do with Max?
I see him a lot in Cronulla, and I knew him back in the day when he was playing for the Titans, and honestly, he was fairly just discouraged with his life and just with his footy, and yeah, he kept having this Achilles issue, and just the story of resilience for him not to give up. It's pretty inspiring. I went up to him at the New South Wales True Blue event and gave him a big hug and just said, mate, you know, you're born for this moment. And so I think his faith has deepened over the years, and he's ready to handle this now.
What about your story as a footy player? It started with St George. Tell us about how you came through, your pathway, and you obviously finished at Cronulla.
Well, my brother and I were part of the first, along with the Hardy boys, Jeff Hardy and his brothers, and Kurt Landers, and we got a scholarship, I think, for $200. The first one they'd ever did in St George.
Geez, overpaid.
Great. Graham Wynn saw me playing, and so did Stuart. The captain of Saints back at the time. Beattie, Stuart Beattie. Yeah. Said, I'm going to recommend him, you know, and keep your eye on him and so forth. And then Brian Smith eventually got a hold of me, and it was very different. Like, you know, instead of schoolies, I just said, I went up a couple of days and I came back and trained, but no one cared that I was training. It was so unorganised. Now you're on contracts and stuff like that. But I just knew that, there was Harry Eden, who was my footy coach and was a former player with Bob McCarthy in that era. He said to me, if you train hard, I'm telling you, you're going to play for Australia. And I was only 15, and not having a dad around, that meant a lot to me, that he believed in me, and he'd had a lot of playing experience. So, you know, I set my sights on stuff, and it worked out.
Big J, I was lucky enough to...
Except for a grand final. Can I just say, that was your...
You broke your finger early in that grand final.
Thumb, wasn't it? Broke your thumb?
Yeah, that's right.
It was a compound fracture, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It came through the skin, and it was pretty gruesome. Well, I pretty much went to hospital straight away, and my brother was in the ambulance with me, and I tried to get the number of the ambulance. She was very cute, but I wasn't a Christian back then. But I'm just saying she didn't give me the number anyhow. But and then I had microsurgery at Prince of Wales, and when I woke up, I saw Brad Mackay getting the Clive Churchill, and I actually thought we'd won. And little did I know that Brad, who was going to invite me to Bible studies and was a key part of my life, he prayed. He said, God, you know, if I win that award, I'm gonna tell people about you. And he did. That was the first time I really saw someone publicly as a footballer thank God. And so he could have asked him to win the game as well, but he didn't. But anyhow, that's the way it is.
Steve, I was lucky enough to debut with you and play a lot of football with you, and you're fantastic for me. But the boys know it. You had this aura of being a nice church, God-loving person, but you were
dirty.
You were one of the dirtiest players I've ever seen, and you were one of the most ruthless competitors.
Yeah,
one of the most
elbow me
ruthless
head all
competitors
the
I've
time.
ever seen.
Standing on people's hands.
Yes, you
Elbow me all
Squirrel
the time.
grips.
Let me tell you a story about Steve. I'd done a lot of things early in my career that I got in trouble for. Big J would ring me every single Monday morning. Gals. Don't worry, mate, don't worry. I've done that. Everything.
And you used to give blokes wedgies.
Okay.
That's part of the
You got
Hopewadi sort
suspended
of.
for a wedgie, didn't
No,
you?
I didn't get suspended. No. Because what happened was Cameron Smith, your lovely, let's just call him a correspondent. I don't know what he does here. But he got me in a nice headlock. And after that, I just said, that's it, guns are off. And I almost passed out. Remember that Melbourne Storm
Yeah,
were
yeah,
doing
they
that
used to
real
choke you,
bad?
yeah.
And one of our players did, I think, not through him, but Paul Franze did actually pass out. So I went to the next level in wedging, but now my son's sort of receiving the... He said to me this morning, because we had a big wrestle, he loves wrestling, he loves karate and all that, and he said, Dad, the nuts, it's a no-go zone. It's a 6-year-old, it's a no-go zone.
But mate, you're a great player.
It's instinct.
You're a great player and great to play with and great to tour with. Tell us about our tours of England and great memories from being in England for an extended time.
Mate, it was the best because when I was younger, my mum, you know, they played in a different time. It wasn't on the same, and she'd wake us up in the middle of the night and say, you know, like, let's watch, me and my brother in a small room. My dad had left. Let's watch the game, and it was at Wembley and so forth. And then to play your sort of first Test match at Wembley. And, you know, it was a real nice, because my mum really, you know, she went above and beyond for us. So it was a very beautiful match. And I loved playing in England because I've got family there as well. My mum lived in England before. She came from Egypt to England, then to Australia. So I could have been teammates with Terry O'Connor instead of stepping on his head.
Standing on his head. That was gruesome.
You gave me up. I wish we had the replay because the cameras went to you and you went, I go,
Sarah just went
where's the
crunch
poker face?
and the noise
Where's
of
the
it.
poker face.
Steve.
But did you see the one before?
10 Hail Marys tonight.
It was the second tackle because Dukes, they poleaxed Dukes and he got up like almost, and I said, it's on. It's just on.
Good days.
Yeah, the worst thing is that I saw Terry Connor was out here on a holiday.
And he's a champion bloke.
He's a champion bloke. And I was in the city, I was in the toilets and I looked and I saw this guy with a scar and I go, that's Terry O'Connor. What are you doing? And I just introduced myself and I shook my hand. And then when I went out, I thought, like I hadn't washed my hand or anything. So I was like, I got him again. I got Terry again. He's got this big scar. Oh.
Made all the acting, all the theatrics. This is the other love of your life.
Yeah,
Tell us
the
about that.
producing, the writing and directing. I'm not really, haven't got a face for in front of it. But yeah, working hard on some stories and I've got a couple up. My first film's on 9 now, Chasing Comets, which is pretty cool. We had Isabel Lucas, and it's funny how things happen, eh? Because back in the day, when Isabel just came out here, she was auditioning for Home and Away, and we were just in the city driving behind her, didn't know who she was. Yeah, Phelpsy's in there, and cut a long story, a car swiped her. We got out and tried to help her, calm her down, all that, and then like 20 years later, she's in my film. So
That was meant to be.
She didn't give me her number either. But,
Smart girl.
You wore it down. You obviously wore it down. You can do that.
well, the number that I wanted was for other motives, but obviously, you know, things worked out and she's great.
Well, you lost 2 grand finals with
Thank you.
St George,
Thank you
but
again.
that was against the great Brisbane teams. What's your memories of coming against Brisbane? Actually,
Honestly.
you and Gordy Tallis sort of grew up together playing at St George, didn't
Me
you?
and Gordy Tallis had a massive we were playing for Saints, and yeah, he really missed home, and his mum came and bought Easter eggs for it was an Easter game. And I ate them all, right, when he was downstairs and filmed them with toilet paper. And then and it was me, Brad Mackay and Gordon rooming in an apartment. And he was so upset because he missed his mum so much. And we started punching on.
You and Gordon?
Oh, yeah, he split me.
Smart money's on Gordon.
no, but then the thing is, we went out and smashed Brisbane. Do you remember there was a 61,000 game on a Friday night? Was it Saints? I did around the corner. Phil Blake
In the early 90s.
in the 90.
Wow.
I think it would be 93.
Wow.
94.
But those Brisbane teams of that era.
Mate, look at that. Lazo was injured. You imagine, like they had Brad Thorne, one of the greats of all time in both codes. You know, they had Tony Carroll, Webby. Andrew G was lock. I mean, Andrew G was hooker.
Yeah.
Lockyer, Langer, Walters,
Mundine under the salary cap.
Sailor Takiri. Yeah, not a bad team.
Hancock on the bench. I'm like, imagine when you're that tired and Hancock comes on like doing.
What about your career, Jay? Do you have a favourite moment? Was it playing for the Blues, playing for Australia, playing for the Dragons or the Sharks?
Yeah, I think there'd be two. There'd be playing for Australia because especially there was a game I wasn't picked in the team. It was a tri-series and then Rodney Howe did his knee at lunchtime and Billy Johnston had flogged us that morning because I wasn't in the side and I went from not being in the team to starting and I put a really big hit on Jason Smith and I remember you were right next to me and you go, yeah, here we go. and we won. We won. That was a great memory. But also playing alongside Martin Lang, I put him through in a semi-final and he scored a try. And we were really good mates and I was so happy to see him against the Dogs.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much,
That was a
guys.
great chat.
I loved it,
Hilarious,
mate.
and we've had so many great times together. All of us with you. So,
We have.
Yeah, you're a great
To
man.
play with you guys, honestly, well, it was like a bit of a dream. There was one Origin just quickly, and me and Kernsey were front rowers, and we had to pour water on our. Because you were just carving up in between. I didn't get the ball. I just poured. He goes, "What do we do?" And me and him put water on. That was when because we're the last team to win 3-0.
2000.
That might change.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks,
and
guys.
stay with us after the break for more of the Sunday Footy Show.